In this video, I want to briefly introduce you, the students, and my Greek reading course on Colossians to the textbooks we will be using. Now, you don't have to buy these textbooks, you can just watch the videos, but I highly recommend them. Also, I want to do this video broad enough such that we can use it for a Saturday feature on the Daily Dose of Greek, because these are my top recommended resources for the careful study of Colossians whenever you do, whether you take my class or not. Okay, first off, I'm going to recommend the Baylor Handbook on the Greek Text. Here it is, by Con Campbell on Colossians and Philemon. If you've been watching the Daily Dose, you know that we frequently recommend the Baylor Handbook series. It's a very helpful. These are paper book guides that go phrase by phrase through the Greek New Testament, especially explaining more difficult or confusing grammatical constructions. I'm grateful to Baylor Press because to students who are registered for the class, they provided a 25% off coupon code for this volume when you order from their website. So that will be within our online class portal. Also, the author of this work, Con Campbell, has agreed to meet with us by Zoom, for those in the Colossians class, on Friday, February the 14th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we can meet with him and talk about Colossians, and then you can go have a wonderful Valentine's Day evening with your spouse. But one of the reasons for that time is Dr. Con Campbell is in Australia. And so we're trying to accommodate the time it will be in Australia. So Friday, February the 14th at 4 p.m. is when we're going to meet with him. The second recommended resource for the careful study of Colossians is the Exegetical Guide to the Greek New Testament by Murray Harris. This is the second series that we frequently recommend, similar to the Baylor Handbook series, but a little bit more detailed, probably 2 to 3 times as much material in this short volume, as it interacts a little bit more with theology, interacts a little bit more with structure and secondary literature. Murray Harris is now 85 years old. He's retired to New Zealand. He's one of these just towering figures in evangelical New Testament scholarship, and he so graciously has agreed to meet with our Colossians class by Zoom on Friday, January the 17th at 4 p.m. Again, we're the time zone in New Zealand. We're accommodating that, but he's going to meet with us Friday, January the 17th at 4 p.m. And the publisher, B&H Academic, has given us a coupon code that we will put in the class with this resource there under the resources section, 40% off any Egg NT volume. So any of the Egg NT volumes that you order directly from the B&H Academic website, that code will get you 40% off, which is super cool. Finally, in addition to those 2 exegetical guides, my top recommended commentary is Doug Moo's Pillar Commentary on Colossians and Philemon. This is the first edition of that commentary. And as I'm recording this, the second edition is not available in print yet. So the second edition should be available in early November. And I've already looked at a PDF pre-release copy of that, and I think all the improvements are excellent. Just taking out some things that make the first edition feel a little dated now, some updated bibliography and so on. But if you've never read Doug Moo's commentary on Colossians and Philemon, and I've been rereading it over the last few days, is just extremely balanced, presenting everything fairly, sifting the evidence, just the flow of thought is just very instructive for how to make interpretive and exegetical decisions it's just really reliable and reverent. I just think it's great. Doug Moo, if I'm not mistaken, is now 80 years old, and he graciously, very graciously, I feel like we have the dream team here, has agreed to Zoom with the Colossians class Friday, January 24th at 11 a.m. He's not in Australia or New Zealand, so he can do 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the publisher, Eerdmans, has not only given us a sample, by the way, all of these volumes, we have samples within the Colossians class, the PDF samples that provided a portion of the work. But the Eerdmans has given us a code that will give you 40% off all pillar commentaries, any pillar commentaries that you want to order, not just this one. And if you do that through their the Eerdmans website. So yeah, just a great commentary and a great discount. There's one other book I'm going to recommend that we're not having as a textbook in the class, but I'm going to recommend to you this. This is a photocopy of the title page, Biblical Turkey. Biblical Turkey, a guide to the Jewish and Christian sites of Asia Minor by Mark Wilson. Why do I just have a photocopy or a printout of the cover? Because it's on order right now for me. Like, I've ordered a copy and it has not arrived yet. And Mark Wilson is going to join our class on Friday, January the 10th at 11 a.m. And I'm having him come in because he knows more about the archaeological site of Colossae than anybody I know. He lives in Turkey. He was telling me it's been 3 seasons now that they've surveyed it. And this very winter, 2024-2025 winter, there will be an application for a permit to do an archaeological dig at Colossae. It's never been excavated, the ancient site of Colossae. It's a tell, it looks like a mound of ruined civilization. But wow, so exciting. And it's super cool that he gets to speak to our class about that. And if you ever go to Turkey on a tour to see biblical sites in Turkey, I don't think you could find someone who knows more about them or who's more reliable than Mark Wilson. So I recommend his book to you. Again, you can find that at his website, 7churches.org, or you can find it on Amazon. And again, Mark Wilson is the director of the Asia Minor Research Center in Antalya, Turkey. So some resources maybe to put on your Amazon wish list, maybe to maybe to buy some today, but especially to be aware of top recommended resources if you're ever going to be preaching or teaching through the book of Colossians. I hope you'll consider joining us. The Colossians class will run the first 8 weeks there in 2025, starting the first week there in January, running to the end of February. And we're going to have a lot of fun going through the book of Colossians and hopefully preparing and equipping people to teach Sunday school class, to preach through the text, just to know the text better, to know and worship God by studying His Word carefully.